Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? We are live. I hope everybody is well today. Tuesday afternoon, 7:30 p.m. in Spain, 6:30 p.m. here in Portugal, and another live stream today as we go through some of the stories that have caught my attention today, and also have a look at some of the comments that were left on yesterday's video, which I must say is going very well at the moment. Lots of interest in that video. Now, plenty of activity already in the chat section. We'll have a look at what's going on here in a minute, but remember to hit the like button below if you haven't done so already, and if you have any questions that you would like me to ask, please leave them in the chat section. We've got Kelvin in the chat section. Hello Kelvin. Gino coming in from Canada with Isabella. We'll be in Javier in December, they say. Very good. Erica coming in from Terrassa. Warnings about storms today, but not a drop of water apparently until now. Hoping to get a bit of relief from the hot weather there is Erica. I'm sure that people around Spain, Erica, are hoping for some relief when it comes to hot weather. What else we got going on here in the chat section? Let's have a look. We've got Steve coming in as always. Has a question that he's put on or put in the chat section. So we'll put this one on the screen so people can answer it. Steve saying, good evening all. Question, anyone use the airline Vueling? I imagine that is Vueling, or not Veiling, I don't think. Vueling, I think, is the airline. Have read some bad reports about it, plus told it's a Spanish-run airline. Yes, Steve, the airline Vueling with V-U-E-L-I-N-G, I think it is a Spanish airline. I'm not sure who owns it. It might be owned by Iberia, not sure. But I have used Vueling a few times, not recently, but back in the day I took a few Vueling flights. It was a low-cost airline, still is, I believe, and I didn't have any problems with them, but I'm sure people in the chat section today will be able to keep you up to date on whether or not Vueling is or not a good old airline still. Steve. Erica in the chat section. Hello, Erica. Babs coming in from Wales. Overcast there again today. Thunderstorms due, like many parts of Spain as well. Libby coming in from Gijón, up there in Asturias. And Philip coming in from the northwest of Ireland, the first time joining a live stream, says, Phil, good to see you here, Phil, for the live stream. Now, the first piece of news that we're going to look at today is this one here. And it's about the rising prices here in Spain, just by how much some things have increased when it comes to holidays mainly, because that's what a lot of people are interested in. So we'll have a look at this one here. And as we can see, how much does a holiday cost this year? This is how much prices have risen for renting a flat, flying, or spending the day at the beach. Visiting some beach destinations this summer is now 30% more expensive than last year, and it's not just petrol, flights, and it's not just petrol. Flights, flats, hotels, and rental cars have gone up in some cases, even more than fuel prices. And we can see here that, for example, 1 week in a flat near the beach, up 34% on last year. 1 week in a hotel in the Canaries, up 25%, and a day at the beach, up 31% on last year's prices. So that gives you an idea of just how much prices have increased by when it comes to having a holiday in Spain this year. We saw in yesterday's video, and as I said, the video's done quite well. I think the headline was daylight robbery. Some people were complaining about prices increasing by 50, 60%. Sometimes more in some of the coastal areas in the country. One bloke said that a meal for 4 people, the typical menú del día, I imagine, last year, 35 euros in the Canaries, this year around 50. And he also said that beer was up, a glass of beer or a caña or something like that, up from 250 to 350. So people taking advantage of the summertime and the high inflation as an excuse to increase prices, I believe. There was plenty of comment, plenty of chat in the comment section yesterday, people giving me their opinions, telling me that inflation is not only happening in Spain, it's happening everywhere in the world at the moment. Yes, I am aware of that. I am aware that inflation is not unique to Spain, but the channel is called Spain Speaks. That's why I talk about Spain. If it was called Nebraska Speaks, I would talk about Nebraska. If it was called Mexico Speaks, I would talk about Mexico. But I talk about Spain because that's what people are interested in that come to this channel. All right, good. Now we'll go back into the chat section here. We'll see what's going on. Libby says that she has used Vueling to get to Barcelona. They were okay, no problems, and the price was right. That was my experience as well, Steve, with Vueling. I'm not sure how many routes they have. I know back in the day, I think I went Madrid-Paris with Vueling, but they obviously have some more international destinations as well. Maybe the European Union only, not sure. But in Spain, obviously, they would have a few routes. And an ex-minister in Spain, I think, was the president of Vueling, if I remember. It's a Catalonian company, or the origins are from Catalonia, I believe. Mickey coming in from Barcelona, BCN, Cullera in Catalan, Valenciano means spoon, hehe, he says. Brian coming in from La Marina, Alicante. Bit cooler down there at the moment, says Brian. Still hot and humid, 33 at the moment. Oh, sorry, still hot, humid, not cooler, sorry. Looking forward to some cooler weather, he says. Too hot for too long, even with the aircon. I think that's the general opinion around Spain at the moment, Brian. Too hot for too long, especially the nighttime temperatures, as we have mentioned, which have been the killer for me, at least, this summer. Mark coming in from Seville, just checked in for today's updates. Hello, Mark, good to see you again. Regular viewers, everybody that I've mentioned here, or most people that I've mentioned, regular viewers to the live streams, good to see. Philip also saying that he has used Vueling, never had a problem, says Philip, that's good to see. Emilio coming in from Toronto, heading to Terrassa and hoping that it will be cooler by the time he gets there in October. I'm sure it will be, Emilio. What else we got going on here? Philip coming in, boa tarde, he says, boa tarde. What else we got going on here? St. Pete de Madrid still, Dave, still in Coruña. I hope the weather's a bit cooler up there, Dave. Did you find your menú del día for a cheaper price than Madrid? Let us know if that is the case, Dave, please. Mug is in the chat from Ireland, and as I said, plenty of activity there in the chat section. Now we're up to 56 likes. I'll just put the little like icon back on the screen. So if anybody hasn't hit the like button yet, please do so. Just below the video, you'll be able to see the like button, and it keeps me motivated as I go through the news here. Now, second piece of news related to the festival that had a tragic end the other day down there in Cullera, Valencia. The AEMET, the weather agency in Spain, warned of a violent meteorological phenomena half an hour before the Medusa accident. The organisers of the Medusa festival issued a communiqué last Monday night in which they reiterated once again that the events that took place at the Cullera event were unforeseeable and that at no time was a virulent phenomenon foreseen. However, the Agencia Estatal de Meteorología, the AEMET, although it is difficult to predict the time and place of the warm gales, did report half an hour before the event of a possible very violent meteorological phenomena. So the organisers of this event still in hot water and trying to defend themselves, saying that the weather event there that unfortunately killed a young man, I believe, 22 years of age, I think, and injured 40 other people was an unforeseen event. They couldn't predict it. They couldn't shut the festival down in time. But the weather agency is saying that a warning did go out, and contradicting what the organisers of the festival said. But as we know, the festival is under investigation. I think there's a court in Valencia that is looking into the festival to see if there was negligence involved, whether or not they could have shut down those rides or whether or not they could have shut down the festival in time, got people out before that weather event went through at something like 3:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, and could have saved that young man's life. That's the question. That's what they're going to try to get to the bottom of. All right, what else we got going on here? Brian coming in from Seattle. Matt J. Was coming in from Michigan, I think it is. Matt, right? PC Tutorial Kid, hot and humid Florida. Bal from London. We've got Paul, had a storm on Friday. Stormy weather predicted for Spain, I think, over the next few days. There is a change in the weather. Sandra coming in from Durham in North Carolina, not Durham, not the other Durham. Mallorca Ben in Acudia, Mallorca. Had a bit of rain yesterday. Big storms forecast on Thursday. Really do need it. Yes, I think lots of parts of Spain do need rain, especially given some of the water shortages and drought that is occurring in some parts of the country, especially, as we know, in Galicia, in the north of the country, and Andalusia, some parts very, very dry. Malaga, there's an area of Malaga, the Arcachia area, which is very, very dry at the moment, and serious water problems down there, and also serious in Galicia as well, with people having trouble getting their hands on drinking water for the population in some towns. Carl coming in from Switzerland, 1,100 meters above sea level, best temperature 23 degrees Celsius. Lucky you, Carl. Beth coming in from Cartagena, Murcia. James coming in from Liverpool. And Mickey BCN Barcelona saying Vilafranca de Penedès, 29 degrees Celsius at the moment. And Sandra, nice moustache. Look forward to seeing it complete. Well, it's about as complete as it's going to get, I think, Sandra. I don't think there's going to be too much more to this moustache or goatee that I'm currently rolling with. I don't think there's going to be too much more to it, unfortunately. It will be coming off in coming days. All right, good. What else? Alan asking the question, did you catch my last email? Not sure, Alan. Not sure if I caught it or not, if it was related to the logo. Can't remember. So just send it through to me again if you can. As I've had a bit of an influx recently of emails, and I'm having trouble keeping up with them all. And by the way, somebody did send me an email that I saw the other day, and I replied to it, and it came back to me saying that it couldn't be delivered. So I think it was a gentleman from India asking about living in Barcelona. So if you're watching the video, or if you see this video, please send me another email with the correct reply email address, please. All right, good. Next piece of news. This one here today. Argentinian lifeguards rescue Spain's summer. Yellow flag on the Nova Icaria beach in Barcelona. Good weather for sailing sports, uncomfortable for swimming. A few minutes later, the first rescue of the day, Luis Rosarno, assures us that there will be more. He scans the shore for possible risky situations. There's an elderly man dunking where the waves break. A little further on, a child alone. The bathing season in the Catalan capital lasts 6 months, longer than in other enclaves on the Spanish east coast, with an influx of 10,000 people on a normal day at Nova Icaria. Rosarno is Argentinian, as are half the lifeguards on Barcelona's beaches. Without them, summer leisure on the coast would not be possible. So an interesting piece of news there. I had no idea that 50% of lifeguards in Barcelona were Argentinian. What is there? A shortage of Spanish lifeguards? Not enough Spanish lifeguards going around? They have to come in from Argentina? Or are they Argentinian people that have emigrated to Spain and work up ending as lifeguards? Don't know the answer to that question, but an interesting fun fact there that 50% of lifeguards in Barcelona are Argentinian. So the next time you're at a beach in Barcelona, there's a fairly high chance that your lifeguard will be Argentinian. And what an important job they do. I saw somebody get rescued at the beach here the other day, although it wasn't a lifeguard that rescued the person. It was just the person on a surfboard that was able to paddle out and save the gentleman that was in danger, because he got into a bit of trouble swimming. Here, of course, open coast, waves, rips, all of those things that you associate with the open ocean. People do get into trouble. In fact, a few years ago, I had to save somebody myself that was in a bit of trouble swimming. And it's quite often, that, as I said, that you see people get into trouble swimming here. But anyway, I'm sure in Barcelona as well, although I thought the Mediterranean might be a little bit safer than the Atlantic, but you never know if that is the case. All right, good. What else is going on here in the chat section? Let's have a look. Carrie coming in from Bilbao. Roland coming in from Minneapolis. Mark asking people to hit the like button. Well, we're up to 88 likes, so I'll just put that back on the screen there as well. So if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do so. Just below the video. It, as I said, it keeps me motivated. What else we got going on? Olbidiu coming in from Romania, first time on the live video. Hello, nice to see you coming in from Romania. PC Tutorial Kid, he used Welling from Dubrovnik to Barcelona. Timely. Put this one on the screen. Service was good and affordable, typical low cost. It's a Spanish run, part of IAG group with BA, Iberia, etc. I thought that was the case. I thought it was now part of the IAG group, but doesn't guarantee reliability, unfortunately, being part of that group. Being a low-cost operator, I think they use the same concept as the other low-cost operators out there, the Ryanairs and the EasyJets, which we know are striking a fair bit this summer. Pilots for EasyJet and ground staff for Ryanair. And an interesting article in the paper yesterday, the spokesperson of the Ryanair group in Spain and Portugal said that they are not going to negotiate with the unions. They're not going to negotiate with the unions, and apparently the strike is a tactic that's basically holding them to some type of ransom. So they're not going to negotiate, but they don't think that the strike is going to carry on for the 3 or 4 months that the unions plan. All right, good. What else we got going on here? The ex-CEO of Welling was CEO of BA. There was also a guy there back in the day, I'm talking a fair while ago, Paul, who was a minister in Spain. Can't remember exactly what his name was, but he was a Catalonian minister. I think it was in the Zapatero government. PK, I think his name was, and he also had something to do with Welling, I think, before it became part of the IAG group, I think, but don't quote me on that fact. What else we got, or don't quote me on that statement, let's that say. What else we got going on? Bucket's been painting all day down there in Albox. Robert saying that he's recently had a holiday in Spain from Barcelona, from Australia, and in the winter, and well, in the winter in Australia, of course. Thought the prices were reasonable, but bank fees were not. Well, prices in Spain reasonable, Robert, when you compare them to Australian prices, and I've got a comment coming up in a minute which will highlight that fact, especially when it comes to eating out. I don't know where you are from in Australia. Let us know. But if you're from Perth, where I come from originally, you'll know that it's not cheap to have a meal out. Maybe anywhere in Australia, I've got no idea, but Perth particularly very expensive to have a night out, to have a drink and a bite to eat. So let us know, Robert, if you can, where you are from in Australia. What else we got going on? Brian's saying that hope the price of beer drops. Don't know whether that will be the case or not, Brian. We'll have to wait and see whether or not prices do drop after this summer period, or whether some places keep them high. A few other people in the comment section yesterday saying that just don't go to these bars and restaurants and prices will drop when the demand dies down, and that's probably the case. But as we know, there's a bumper summer going on at the moment in Spain, and that's one of the reasons why these bars and restaurants are taking advantage of it. All right, 114 likes, 187 people watching. So I'll put the like button back on the screen today. And if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. And what else we got going on here? We've got Philip coming in, watching with his dad. Windy and rainy all day here on the, where's that? The Northumberland coast of England. Rainy and wet all day. Have you got water restrictions there, Philip, or is that only in the south of the United Kingdom? Let us know. All right, the last piece of news today is this one here about the healthiest city in the world, which is apparently Valencia, according to a study. So Spain is one of the most visited countries in the world. Its coastline, its gastronomy, and good weather are some of the reasons that make our country one of the favorite destinations for foreign tourists. But beyond the weather or the food, when traveling and visiting other places, it is important to take into account factors that can affect our health. For this reason, the financial products consultancy money.co.uk has prepared a study that determines which are the 10 healthiest cities in the world, and the list is headed by the Spanish city of Valencia. So, not only is Valencia one of the most popular cities when it comes to foreign resident living, we saw this last year maybe, was it, that Valencia was named as the best city in the world when it comes to foreign resident living, but it's also the healthiest city in the world. And obviously that's due to the diet that they have there, the lack of pollution probably when compared to some other cities around the world, making it a healthy place to live, according to that study from money.co.uk. So another study out there, and Valencia doing very, very well. So I'm sure Valencia is high on the list of cities to live in when people are looking for a city to live in here in Spain, or in Spain, let's say, because I'm not there at the moment. But as we know, Valencia, as I said, does very well in a lot of these surveys for the quality of life that you've got down there. And not only do you have fantastic quality of life, but you also have a very healthy city as well, apparently. All right, what else we got going on here? Matt saying Michigan, it is, good memory. I thought it was somewhere in that part of the world, Wisconsin or somewhere like that, is it? Or Michigan? Oh, sorry, Michigan, yeah. Not Wisconsin, but it's around that part of the States. Ola Stew, City fan in the chat section, regular viewers. Miguel coming in from, let me see if I get it right here today, Derbyshire, is that correct? Hope I've said it correct today. So I seem to get that one wrong every time for some reason. I think it's because in Perth we say Derby and not Derby, but hopefully I've got it right. What else we got going on here? Someone will let me know if I haven't. Christine coming in from Madrid, 28 degrees, loving it. Such a relief. Fantastic when Madrid's 28 degrees. It is a great city when the weather's not extreme, when it's not too cold or too hot. If you can jag one of those months, you are lucky. Karen coming in from Alpujarra, the Alta part of it. Menu del Dia, still 10 euros there. Good to see. You're not being charged more than 10 for a menu. Good value. Sam coming in from the Sevilla province. Hello, Sam. And Joe Smith also saying that in Madrid a bit cooler, 28 degrees, the heat wave over for now. But I think it's coming back later this week or maybe early next week. I saw on my weather app 36, 37 degrees forecast a bit later in the week. Philip coming in, Super Chat. What else we got going on here with the Super Chat from Philip? £10. Thank you very much, Philip, from La Trinidad, Malaga. Feeling guilty about not having contributed sooner. Don't worry, Philip. Everything is appreciated here. If you can contribute, fantastic. £10. Greatly appreciated, as I said. All right, good. Alan coming in, regular viewer again. Have I thought of getting a green screen as a background option? The answer to that question is no, Alan. I have not thought about getting a green screen. I'm quite happy with the setup that I have here, considering that it's only temporary. So I haven't thought about getting a green screen, although I have seen some YouTubers with green screens putting nice pictures behind them and making them look as though they're at some type of tropical location. But here we've just got a plain wall, nice piece of art up there on the wall, a classic piece of art, and of course a window with one of the typical blinds that we have in this part of the world that keeps the sun out, because it's a sunny, very sunny day today, Alan. Well, it's a bit of 50-50. It's the sun comes and goes, but when it does shine, it really comes in hard through this window. So the blind, persiana, as they say in Spanish, very important here. All right, what else we got going on? Miguel saying that I was under the impression that all lifeguards were Argentinian and that all tapas bars in Barcelona are run by Chinese. Yeah, you could have got that impression. 50% apparently is the official number, and I think it's even higher in Mallorca. And tapas bars in Barcelona run by Chinese, which is also quite common in Madrid nowadays. You walk into a bar in the center of Madrid, and it is run by Chinese people doing Spanish food, all of the Spanish classics, the tortilla de patatas in some of those bars, and you get used to it, but it is something that does stand out when you see Chinese people running authentic Spanish bars in the center of Madrid. Waiters, chefs, bar staff, all Chinese. So they're willing to take on that type of business. So good luck to them. What else we got going on? Joe saying that he has also flown with Welling before. Comfortable flight, better service than EasyJet or Ryanair. Welling is part of the IAG group. I think we saw that before. That is true. All right, good. Craphead saying must be cheap lifeguards from Argentina because most Spaniards swim well. Tony from Cuenca. Really, Tony? Most Spaniards swim well? I don't think, if you ask a lifeguard, I think they will tell you that a lot of people don't swim well. I had a conversation with the lifeguard last year or the year before who was working in the Alicante area, and he told me you would be surprised by the amount of people that get into trouble swimming in those waters down there. And as I said, you don't really get the impression that the Mediterranean is all that dangerous if you compare it to the Atlantic and places like that. But I was surprised that a lot of people did get into trouble when swimming in the Mediterranean. All right, what else? Albert says he's amazed by the number of Argentinians in Mallorca. Super friendly people. Yeah, I found that also, Albert. I'll put that chat on the screen. I found that also when I traveled to Argentina many years ago, just how friendly people were in Argentina. Incredibly friendly, I would say. I was amazed by how much interest people took in me there, asking me where I was from, if I liked Argentina, what I thought of Argentina, something that nobody in Spain ever seems to do, or at least not the first time you meet them. But in Argentina, people were very open, very welcoming, and very friendly people, as you said. All right, what else we got going on here? In general. What else we got going on here? Joe went from Bilbao to London. There we go. So it's obviously they do have those European routes. I'm not sure whether they go outside Spain or not. Outside of Europe, sorry. Not sure. But I could be wrong. What else we got going on here? Showman Bailey, Bonnie from Swansea, raining there. Heat wave is over. Was there a heat wave in Wales, Bonnie? I think somebody might have mentioned that a few months ago that was a few weeks ago that was the case. Very hot in Wales as well. All right, let's have a look at a comment from yesterday's video. Let's have a look at one here from Richard. A pint of real ale in Australia is around £9 sterling now. Now, this is what we spoke about before when I think it was Robert, can't remember exactly who it was. Somebody from Australia said that they found Spain quite cheap, and compared to Australia it is, of course, and we can see £9 for a pint of real ale in Australia. So what's that, about 15 Australian dollars? Sounds about right. In a place like Perth, you would probably pay anywhere from 12 to 15, depending on where you went. And just in general, to go out and have a drink and a bite to eat in Australia is very expensive if you compare it to Spain. But of course, the salaries that people make in Australia are a lot higher than what people make in Spain, hence the difference. For example, my cousins and sisters and people like that, the salaries that they make compared to my salary, you can't compare it. So if I go out and have a pint of beer, I normally pay around, $2.50 for a pint of beer in Madrid. If you go to a fast food restaurant, a Cien Montaditos or somewhere like that, around $2.50 for a pint, or a jarra as they call it. I think it's probably half a litre of beer, €2.50, which is about $4 Australian dollars. And if you go to Australia, you pay between $12 and $15 for the same product. So very expensive to go out and eat and drink in Australia. Especially alcohol, very, very expensive. And that's what's cheaper in Spain normally, alcohol cheaper in Spain. But interesting there, a pint, because when I was growing up in Australia, when I first started going to pubs and places like that in Perth, we didn't have pints. You couldn't buy pints. You could only buy pints if you went to an Irish pub or a British pub. There were one or two around Perth City, and you could get a pint of beer there. But the pint trend has caught on in Perth and other parts of Australia as well. And now people do ask for pints when they go out. But when I was growing up, there were no pints. We only had middies. Middies, I think we used to call them. Schooners on the east coast of Australia. A glass of beer, I think we had as well. Some people used to drink a pony in some states, which is a small glass of beer as well. But pints were never popular, except, as I said, when you went to an English or an Irish pub. But now, any pub in Australia will serve you a pint for $15, but you'll get one. All right, what else we got going on here? Plenty of activity. Alan's late from San Diego. Don't worry, Alan. We're up to the 29-minute mark. A few minutes to go. Bonnie, Scotland. Evelyn. Hello, Evelyn. Hope all is well there. What else we got going on? Chris coming in from the Valle del Sol. Frank also talking about Welling. Flash flood in Southern California, says Alan. And Real Calgal coming in from California, 91 degrees Fahrenheit there. First time commenting on a live stream. Thank you very much for the valuable news coverage. No problems. You are welcome. All right, we're up to 144 likes. I'll put the like image back on the screen. So if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do so, just below the video. What else we got going on here in the chat section? Erica, all my Oz family found that going out on Terrassa, Barcelona was cheaper. Yeah, normally that is the case. Took my cousins to Canculleretes, which is a restaurant that opened before Australia was a country. There we go. There must be an old restaurant there, Erica. Most Aussies will find that prices in Spain are a lot cheaper when it comes to eating and drinking, as I said, than in Spain. And then here in Portugal, it's another thing altogether. For example, if you tell somebody from Australia that you can get a cup of coffee here for 70 cents or 80 cents or whatever you pay for a cup of coffee, unbelievable. People would not believe you. And what you pay for a bottle of beer here in Portugal as well, around €1.10, €1.20. Very, very cheap prices compared to Australia and other parts of the world. Very, very cheap. So really no comparison when it comes to having a beer. Australia, Portugal or Spain. What else we got going on here? Joe saying, not surprised about Valencia being so healthy. Great food, beaches, beautiful parks. There we go. No surprises there, says Joe. And good to see. What else we got going on? Tonu coming in saying that his wife moved to Catalonia from India in February. Both got jobs in IT. Channel is great to help us know what's going on. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Tonu, for the chat comment there. Thank you very much, and hope you are enjoying life in Barcelona. And a lot of people seem to be moving to Barcelona to get into that IT sector. As I said before, another person from India contacted me the other day asking me about Barcelona and the cost of living. But as I said, couldn't get back to him because his email was wrong, apparently, or at least that's what Gmail told me. All right, what else we got going on? Curtis coming in, found a local pub selling Madri the other day. Great pint, 2 or 3. It was, LOL. There we go, that beer that people are talking about, Madri. I have seen it in Madrid, but apparently it's available in the UK as well. A beer called Madri. All right, what else we got going on here? Greens. Yeah, there's just chat about greens. Won't get into that. What else we got going on here? Let me see if I can find another chat section, another chat to bring out if I can. Tony insisting that never seen any problems with Spanish people swimming in Alicante. Just quoting what a lifeguard told me, Tony, and I'm sure a lifeguard would have better information than myself or yourself, I think, Tony. But then again, I'm not sure. You said Spanish people are strong swimmers. I think that the majority of Spanish people are reasonably strong swimmers. Of course, I know from experience with my partner's family and my son that they don't have the same amount of swimming lessons that we had as children in Australia. I remember I had years and years of swimming classes in Australia, and I think we are all fairly good swimmers in Australia, but maybe not comparable to compare Spanish swimmers with Australian swimmers. Possibly not, but in my experience from what I've seen, Spanish people are not as strong when it comes to swimming as other countries. That's just what I've seen. But anyway, that's just my opinion. All right, what else we got going on here? 34 minutes, 205 people watching, 161 likes. We'll have a look at a couple more comments from yesterday. Marilyn says, it's not getting fleeced. The bars and restaurants have to pass on some of the extra costs. It's still not expensive. Yeah, again, referring to what we mentioned yesterday about the price of some bars and restaurants putting their prices up, they have to pass on some of the extra costs. That is true. But I remember the head of the Bank of Spain a couple of months ago saying everybody in Spain has to take a hit with the high inflation. Those were his direct words. Everybody has to take a hit. So whether you are a bar or a restaurant owner, or you own another type of business in Spain, if everybody's taking a hit, then that should be the idea, or that's the idea that he was trying to put forward. But obviously it's not the case, with some places increasing their prices by 50 or 60%. Are they still cheap? Well, they're not overly expensive. If you pay 35 and then you pay 50, what does that work out to? €12.50 for a menu. If you're 4 people, it's not out of this world. People can still afford it, but it is a big increase on last year's prices. And the price of some things going up from $2.50 to $3.50. I've even read in the press that there are some parts of Spain now that are timing people for sitting on a terrace. When you sit down at a terraced area outside, the stopwatch goes on, and as soon as you finish your drink, they kick you out. So there are changes creeping in, but yeah, you're right. It's still not overly expensive, even with these increase in prices. All right, good. What else we got going on here? Next one. If Spain sorts themselves out and starts to allow the unvaccinated in without discrimination, then maybe the economy might be strengthened with the much-needed tourism. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on with this question here, Stephen. Obviously saying that Spain would benefit if the unvaccinated were allowed in. I think it's still the rule, is it, that if you're not vaccinated against COVID, you might have trouble getting into Spain from outside the European Union. That still could be the case. To be honest, I'm not keeping up with that news anymore. But the last point that you made here, the economy might be strengthened. Spain's absolutely packed to the brim at the moment. There's no room for anybody else. So obviously, there are plenty of people enjoying a Spanish holiday this year. Local people and international people as well. So I don't really agree with the second part of your comment there, Stephen. But anyway, you are entitled to your opinion. All right, good. PC Tutorial Kids saying that I find alcohol cheap in Spain, even accounting for salaries. I don't reckon Australians make 6 times the salary. I don't think anybody said Australians make 6 times the salary. At least I didn't see this here. Maybe somebody in the chat section did say that, but it's not something that I would say. Probably I would say maybe 2 or 3 times. For example, a lot of my friends in Australia are on 6-figure salaries, and a 6-figure salary in Spain, you'd be hard-fetched to find somebody on a 6-figure salary that wasn't a bank executive or an executive at a big company, or somebody that owned a successful business, to be getting a 6-figure salary in Spain. But anyway, that's just the people that I've come across. But I could be wrong. All right, what else we got going on? Andrew asking, putting a thing. In Australia some years ago, I asked for a beer. Do you want a tinny or a something there? I'm not sure what the second one is there. Yeah, tinny is a can of beer. Stubby is the other one that he wanted to pull out there. Stubby is a little bottle of beer, short little stubby bottle of beer, hence the name Stubby. And Stubby of VB goes down very well on a hot day, or a Stubby of any type of beer basically goes down well on a hot day. But that's right, yeah, tinny can of beer, Stubby a little bottle. Food is cheaper in Madrid, says Dave from Madrid, living there now. Yeah, that is probably true. Compared to other countries around the world, you can still find cheap meals in Spain. And what else we got going on? Let me see if I can find a couple more chat comments here before we finish. We're up to the 39-minute mark. Rita coming in from Torremolinos. Hello, Rita. Now, what else we got going on here? We'll have a look at one more comment from yesterday. EJ, beat the rip-off price hikes. Easy. Go to the supermarket, buy your beer, your wine, your lemonade, your water, whatever, at low prices. Also, buy a salad selection of your choice. Again, at low prices. Invest in a good picnic cool box and tableware basket. Take your family to the beach, local park, riverside beauty spot. Enjoy great family time. Take photos, save memories. over to you. So there we go, a piece of advice from EJ telling us on what we need to do. We need to stop going to bars and restaurants and wasting our money. We need to just go to the supermarket, buy a picnic cool box, table, some chairs, and sit down in the great outdoors and have a meal with the family, take a few photos and enjoy life, and not get sucked into this restaurant culture where we're getting ripped off left, right and center by unscrupulous bar and restaurant owners. All right, good. Now we'll start to wrap the live stream up. John asking a couple of questions here. What? This is a live broadcast? It's a miracle I happened to catch it. Easy solution to that, John. All you have to do is go to the subscribe button below. You'll see the image there on the screen. Click that and then click the little bell beside it, the little notifications button. And every time I do a live stream or any other type of video, you will get a little notification going off on your telephone or device telling you that I am live or a video has been posted. That is the solution. All right, good. What else we got going on here quickly before we finish? Okay, all right, good. PC tutorials clarifying something here. Didn't mean to imply 6 times the salary, talking about the price of alcohol. 6 times as expensive, but I doubt salaries. Therefore, alcohol very cheap in Spain. Yeah, alcohol, cigarettes very cheap in Spain. I think it's a ploy by the government, to be honest. I've thought about this a lot over the years, comparing the two countries, Australia with Spain. In Australia, for a packet of cigarettes, what do you pay now? 35 Australian dollars, or maybe 40 Australian dollars now for a packet of cigarettes. In Spain, you pay 5 euros for a packet of cigarettes. In Australia, you pay $15 for a pint. In Australia, you pay in Australia, you pay 15 euros for $15 for a pint. In Spain, you pay around $2.53 for a pint. So huge differences when it comes to that. Yeah, salaries are better in Australia, but they're not justifying that type of price difference, especially when it comes to smoking and drinking, which are favorite pastimes of many people. And in Australia, very, very expensive to do those things. In Spain, not yet. And Portugal, again, very, very cheap when it comes to drinking coffee, drinking beer, and smoking cigarettes. I think, as I said, it's a government ploy to keep people happy, basically. I think it is. If you put the prices of those things up, you would probably have a revolution in some countries. That's just my opinion. All right, good. Now, we'll start to cut the live stream short. Been going for a long time now, 42 minutes, 172 likes. Thank you very much for your participation today in the chat section, for watching. Thank you very much to the super chat that we had before. Greatly appreciated. I'll see everybody again on Thursday for another live stream. Hope to see you then. Hasta luego. Hasta luego.